other than the Goldberg thing, the big news coming out of that show was kayfabe or no kayfabe. What happened with Seth Rollins? Like that was the big story. And I wanted to ask you because my pro wrestling is a work sensibilities said, and I'll give you the reasons why. So I heard that this had happened in the match, so I knew before I watched it to be looking for the moment, and so Seth Rollins does that flip and lands on both feet, by the way, and that's where he gets hurt. And so Michael Cole is calling the replay, and they showed in slow motion. He lands, and Michael Cole goes, "Look at his knee buckle." I Zapruder taped that thing forwards and backwards. You couldn't see shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's Michael Cole selling the angle. Now, the interesting thing was Seth Rollins actually losing the match, because I was like, what would they have done if this were real? They probably would have just canceled the match if he was really hurt. But if Seth was like being a businessman, knowing that, okay, I'm going to be out for a little bit, let's figure out how LA Knight could go get on top. Then, so when he did that, I was like, huh, okay, that's interesting, because he is Seth. He's really smart. He can think on his feet. But I didn't even really know all of the chaos that was going on about, was it real or was it not? I was just kind of watching and going like, okay, we'll sort of figure it out. But all of what happens is when you do that on TV, it is all of a sudden now the wrestling reporter's job to figure out what's going on, because the company is being dishonest, but it's because it's an angle if they are being dishonest. And if they aren't being dishonest and this is really a shoot, then you're trying to find information about what's the injury. What are we reporting this as? Was it a knee? How long is he going to be out? So there's two different reasons that the reporters are going crazy on this. So when it all comes out, I think I've seen more stuff just today that it's more than likely a work than not a work. And I know Seth was on, I think I was on the Rich Eisen show or something, and Rich asked him about it. He gave his answer of, it's too swollen still. We won't know. So here's my question to you, which is, let's say you were booking a scenario in which you wanted Seth Rollins to do a surprise cash-in at SummerSlam, almost kind of like the WrestleMania 31 cash-in, which kind of put him on the map. We were both there, and we saw that thing live, and it was amazing. There's so many ways to get him out of the thing. Now, pro wrestling fans, very understandable if he just gets double teamed by somebody and takes a move out to the out, sort of like Will Ospreay in the All In main event. Just gets pile driven on the floor and like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be out, and they just sell him being out. What is the reason if Seth is if they are just doing this for an angle? What is the reason for them to do it this way, knowing all it's going to do is put the hounds on, and the wrestling media is going to just try and figure it out because that's their job?
Well, I mean, they want people talking about it, right? If it was a work and they want people talking, and it was, I think it dominated the weekend. Actually, people were wondering, is it real? Is it fake? What's going on here? So that was a goal.
Maybe that's what also what Goldberg was mad about. He's like, man, it overshadowed my moment.
If it was, I don't know. I thought it was a work because Paul Heyman did not look that concerned when it originally happened. Like I know he's a great worker and all, but like he was kind of like just watching it play out, and then it didn't seem like there was much panic within those eyes to me. So there was a doctor there, the referee was talking. He didn't seem upset at the moment when they're talking to him stuff, and I don't know, but I think the idea is they were trying to create a scenario instead of doing the typical, let's do a pro wrestling angle. Someone takes him out, say CM Punk takes him out, and I think with that people expect Seth to come in, probably cash in on Punk if he beats Gunther at SummerSlam, right? So this way, they create a real situation where fans are like, "Well, he's probably not coming back for months," so they're expecting the cash in to happen sometime in the future. So if it was a work and Seth comes back at SummerSlam and cashes in on CM Punk or Cody Rhodes, either one, they'll be shocked. They want a surprise moment for the fans.
Okay, but the fans are looking for inside information more than ever. And by doing it this way, you're creating the space for Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, Brian Alvarez to basically go, we did the reporting. Like, this is not real. So doesn't it spoil the idea by doing it this way to a lot of the fan base? Or is the fan base just going to play along because, it's still real to them, damn it. Like, they don't want, like, they still want that feeling when he does.
I mean, you're saying that every fan is going to look up this online and do,
It's
not really. I mean,
not every fan, but more fans than ever follow this stuff because it's just out there.
I think just majority of the fans aren't sitting there diving deep on their,
I would say at SummerSlam, 40 to 50% will have some knowledge because of Twitter or a wrestling website or a podcast. This stuff is just out there now. It's so easily accessible.
But there's also a million people watching it. It's a lot of people. I have a coworker who's a big wrestling fan, WWE fan, and actually she watches some AEW, and she has no inside information. She doesn't know what the Observer is. She doesn't know anything of that kind of stuff. She doesn't know who Dave Meltzer is. She just watches what's on television. I think there's majority of people like that. So those people, I think, is what they're trying to, the hardcore fans are going to do their debating and all that stuff, and that's fine. The reporting is going to be reporting, but I think they just want a genuine surprise with this cash in. I think Seth wants a genuine surprise with the cash in if this is truly a work.
Yeah,
and I feel like it is, and I feel like they're setting it up. I thought they're doing it for that show for Saturday's main event, but I think Seth is, who's been obsessed, obviously, with CM Punk. That's been the story since CM Punk showed up back in WWE. So I think Seth is going to cash in on Punk at SummerSlam after he beats Gunther for the title.
By the way, if this is where they go with it, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work tremendously well because also there's a side of fans who, when they believe something is going to happen, and then it happens, they get even more excited because they're like, I was right. And so that's kind of funny too. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, I was like, dude, I just felt Sting was going to beat Ric Flair for the title. Like, I just felt it in my bones. Like, this is going to be a day, Grand Record Bash, July 7th, 1990. I was so pumped. I knew it was going to happen, and it happened. I was the happiest kid in the world on that day. So, yeah, I think fans are probably going to hope that they're there to witness Seth cash in. And
even though he's a heel,
they cheer.
Love it.
They'll cheer. But then Punk will, make sure it's back to reality the next night on Raw, and that'll be the big feud for the fall, I guess.